So this webinar today is a step-by-step guide to applying and accessing linked data in the UK Longitudinal Linkage Collaboration Trusted Research environment. The agenda for today is for me to give an introduction, then Stella will present on the application process, Samuel will present on data request forms, then we'll have a break for questions, and then Rich will present on data access and how to work in the TRE. Christine will present on the public involvement aspect of the UK LLC, and Jackie will present on legal documentation with a second break for questions, and then I'll conclude and summarize the discussion. So the UK LLC is a collaboration that's been put together to benefit public health, and you can see all the different groups involved in the UK LLC, and that it's a part of the COVID-19 Longitudinal Health and Wellbeing National Course Study. The UK LLC is a 4 nations infrastructure that was set up to be interdisciplinary, to host pre-pandemic and pandemic data, to align complex and divergent governance frameworks across the different longitudinal population studies into a streamlined and predictable linkage access route, and to create a new way of working for record linkage. And we made a bunch of design decisions that you'll see distributed throughout the presentations today. We're using 5 safes, depersonalized data, distributed governance. We have a strong public involvement program, and we're transparent in what we do. So the UK LLC contains over 20 longitudinal population studies data. All the studies have a COVID-19 collection, which includes questionnaire data collected during the pandemic, as well as for many studies, serology data, basic demographics, and other basic health data. And this does vary between studies. We're also linked to the NHS COVID-19 data sets, and I'll go into a bit more detail about what data sets we have in later slides. We're also linked to wider NHS data sets, and we are negotiating access to administrative records from HMRC, Department of Work and Pensions, and Department of Education, and environmental and neighborhood data is being modeled, particularly with a focus on air pollution, noise, and green space. We have a strong public involvement program with 4 key groups that inform the work we do, and they are involved in creating all our public-facing materials, and we have an ongoing program of work to make sure that public involvement is embedded in the UK LLC. And in particular, when we say public, we mean the public, but we also mean participants in the longitudinal population studies that are involved in the UK LLC. Are part of the collaboration. And so our 4 groups are the Strategic Advisory Committee, the Data Access Public Review Panel, about which you'll hear more later, the Public Advisory Group, and the Public Involvement Network. So what is our minimum viable product? What do we have on offer to you today? We have 20+ longitudinal studies. We have a novel NHS digital data pipeline, public contributors, and an applications panel. And in the first year, we had 9 applications through our beta testing phase. We have approved more than this. And you can see that the studies are a wide variety of kinds of studies. There's social science studies and health studies, and they're from all the different nations and cover the UK as a whole. And it's hard to describe the longitudinal population studies data we hold because each study provided their own unique data set, but these is a word cloud of the most commonly used words in the data that we hold from the longitudinal population studies. And this is a list of the linked data currently available in the UK LLC, and you can see that we have all the core COVID data sets, plus things like GP data and hospital data and cancer registration data. We also hold for Generation Scotland equivalent data sets for most of the data. And this is the data pipeline that we work with to show how we never see the participant identifiers. So the study provides the personal identifiers to our linkage brokerage service in Swansea, and they are the ones who send the personal identifiers to NHS Digital. We receive de-identified study data, which is then linked to the provision data from NHS Digital, using a UKLLC ID, and then that is what is provisioned into the trusted research environment. So essentially, it is functionally anonymous. We have set up an efficient and predictable data access for researchers. We're following the 5 SAFEs program and evaluating these applications, and it's a distributed model. So any study whose data you're applying to use will review the application as well as the UKLLC application review panel. And you're going to be seeing this stage 1, stage 2 to stage 3 flow diagram throughout some of these presentations. Some key things to remember about the UKLLC is that the UKLLC has delegated review authority from NHS Digital. It is for COVID-19 research only, and only UK-based analysts can access it. It's public research for the public benefit with public review, and there's a requirement for reproducible research. And the first stage, which is the expression of interest stage, works through the HDR UK gateway on their inquiry form. All researchers need to be ONS approved and accredited. The institution has to sign a data access agreement, and there is light touch research user IT security framework that has to be met. So after an access application has been approved, then there is a data access agreement that must be signed, and information governance must be covered as part of that process. Each researcher on an application must also sign a data user responsibilities agreement. Once the institution and the researcher have signed the data access agreement in Dura, data can be provisioned, and even after approval is given, amendments can be made to the application. And this is what it looks like in the TRE in terms of what's available for the researchers once they've accessed it. And there is an output disclosure check before any research outputs come out of the TRE. And Rich will be talking about this in more detail. So what are our future plans? We want to improve our user experience and encourage reproducible research, enhance the resource with administrative records, and create an efficient and predictable data access for analysts. And finally, we wish to expand beyond COVID-19 research to become a general research resource. So with that, I will stop sharing and hand it over to Stella to go into a bit more detail about the access process.